On the anniversary party of my husband and I. His childhood friend, a leading psychologist, suddenly raised the microphone. You might not know this, but our gentle and beautiful Mrs. Grace actually suffers from severe emotional dependency. She smiled sweetly, looking at me. Ethan sacrificed a lot to treat her, even personally conducting desensitization therapy for her. Perhaps that doesn't make sense to you, but it means Ethan and I had sexual relations to achieve the therapeutic goal. As his friend, my heart truly went out to him. The guests' gazes instantly turned disdainful, tinged with a dirty curiosity. My husband stood beside her, head bowed, silently consenting. Sophia continued. Grace, she is actually very pitiable. This condition makes her uncontrollably seek stimulation, and she suffers greatly herself. Ethan sacrificed so much to protect her, to prevent outsiders from knowing about her unique condition. He even had to sacrifice his own feelings to satisfy her, to treat her. This great love truly moves me. As she spoke, she squeezed out 2 tears. Felt for him? Treat me? By sleeping with him? I looked at my husband, Ethan. He finally raised his head, but he dared not look at me. His evasion was the loudest slap across my face. I picked up the fullest glass of wine from the table, and walked towards the pair putting on their act. A flicker of surprise crossed Sophia's face, quickly replaced by that martyr-like expression of feigned compassion. I raised my hand and splashed the entire glass of red wine all over her face. The wine trickled down her cheeks, washing away her mask of feigned pity. Ah, she shrieked. Ethan's reaction was even faster than I expected. He shielded Sophia behind him, then turned and roared at me. Grace, what kind of tantrum are you throwing? His roar was filled with anger and disappointment. I'm throwing a tantrum? I looked at him coldly. Ethan, you let her stand in front of everyone and say I'm an emotional dependent patient. You let her say you personally engaged in desensitization therapy to treat me. Now you ask me what kind of tantrum I'm throwing? Did you hear every word she said? She spoke of desensitization therapy. That means you two were putting on a twisted public display in front of me, right? Who is really embarrassing whom here? The guests began murmuring. Those dirty stares now held an added excitement of watching a show. Desensitization therapy? My, that's intense. Is that what it implies? I've heard there's such a therapy in psychology, but this is too much. Mrs. Grace looks perfectly normal, how could she be? Just then, Ethan's parents, William and Margaret, walked over quickly. Margaret forcefully pushed me away. Grace, you're so thoughtless. Today is your anniversary, do you have to make such an ugly scene? William also put on a stern face and scolded me. Sophia had good intentions, she was trying to help your marriage. How could you treat her like this? Apologize to Sophia at once. I looked at Sophia, who was well protected by Ethan behind them, sobbing pitifully. I understood. In this setup, I was the outsider. The child, just 2 months old in my womb, seemed to sense my despair and began to ache faintly. I shook off Margaret and looked at Ethan. Ethan, I'm asking you one last time, do you agree with what she said? Ethan looked at me, his expression showing struggle and impatience. Grace, stop making a scene. Sophia was just trying to help me too. I nodded. Fine. Seeing me fall silent, Ethan assumed I was giving in. He frowned. All right, that's enough. Go apologize to Sophia now, and this whole thing will be over. 2. Sophia, from behind him, opportunely peered out and said softly, Ethan, it's all right, don't blame Grace. She's only so emotional because she's sick. I don't blame her. Her magnanimous demeanor made Margaret feel even more for her. Look how generous Sophia is. Grace, what nerve do you have standing here? I looked at Ethan and asked him, so, in your eyes, all my reactions tonight are just me being unreasonable, right? Ethan's impatience was clear on his face. Do you have to be such a killjoy? Do you have to make things so awkward? Don't you know what day it is? Of course, I do. I cut off all arguments and calmed down. Ethan, do you remember 2 months ago when I had my first morning sickness, throwing up until I was dehydrated and ended up in the emergency room? He paused, not quite registering it. I helped him recall. That night, you didn't come home. The next morning, you told me that Sophia was heartbroken and upset, so you stayed up all night drinking with her, comforting her. The murmuring around us ceased. Ethan's expression changed. That wasn't. I didn't give him a chance to explain and continued. Last month, my parents came to our home for the first time, wanting to have a meal together with you, their son-in-law. Do you remember where you were? I didn't need him to answer. You were supporting Sophia at the opening ceremony for her new psychology clinic, busy running around like the host. My parents waited for you for 3 hours, and in the end, only received a text message from you saying you couldn't get away. And last week, in the early hours of the morning, my stomach was in severe pain, and I felt abnormal fetal movement. Frightened, I called you. You answered, but only said, "Don't scare yourself, I'm busy," then hung up. I looked at the vulnerable-looking Sophia behind him. Later, I found out you were so busy because Sophia had called you, saying she had a nightmare, was very scared, and needed you to be with her immediately. Ethan, is an adult's nightmare more important than the potential danger to the child in my belly, right? Each incident, taken alone, could be a small thing that might be forgiven. My overreacting during pregnancy, his letting emotions cloud judgment for a friend. Ethan's face went from embarrassed to paw. Lou. He wanted to retort but found everything I said was true. You don't need to explain. I cut him off. Ethan, from the moment you tacitly agreed with her words, that very moment, we were finished. The instant the words left my mouth, the intense emotional fluctuation finally triggered my body's protest. A sharp, cramping pain surged through my abdomen. The pain came quickly and fiercely. I couldn't help but let out a muffled groan, instinctively bending over and clutching my stomach tightly. Cold sweat instantly drenched my back. Ethan's pupils contracted sharply. He took a step towards me. "Grace." Sophia softly tugged at his sleeve. "Ethan, she's having another episode, isn't she? Don't go near her, I'm afraid she'll hurt you and the baby." He stopped, his face filled with suspicion and wariness. My heart, along with the agonizing pain in my abdomen, sank into an abyss. I straightened up. The abdominal pain continued, but it was less than 1/10 of the pain in my heart. Ignoring the shouts of Ethan's parents behind me, ignoring the probing stares of the guests, I turned and left. I walked to the parking lot, my hands trembling as I fumbled for my car keys. A hand reached out from behind, gripping mine tightly. It was Ethan. He had followed me. "Grace." His tone softened. "Don't be angry now, you're pregnant, and anger isn't good for the baby." He tried to pull me into his embrace. "Whatever it is, let's talk about it when we get home, alright? Don't let people laugh at us here." This was our usual phrase for resolving conflicts. In that moment of my distraction, Ethan's phone screen lit up in his pocket. He quickly released my hand and pulled out his phone. It was a WhatsApp message from Sophia. Because I was so close, I saw it clearly. The message read, "Ethan, is she alright? Don't be too hard on her. After all, patients are emotionally unstable, it's understandable. Please don't forget our most important matter." I saw a smile spread across Ethan's face, he had even forgotten my presence. He immediately looked down, his fingers flying across the screen to type a reply. In that instant, everything became clear to me. He chased after me, not because he cared about me. He was just afraid that I, an emotionally unstable patient, would lose control and do something that would affect his and Sophia's most important matter. What was I? What was the child in my belly? Slowly, step by step, I backed away from him. Ethan finished his message before remembering me. He looked up, saw me several steps away, and frowned. "Grace, what's wrong now? Didn't I say we'd talk about it at home?" I turned, opened the car door, and got in. The car pulled out of the parking lot, leaving his stunned face far behind. Back in the house that was once called home, every piece of furniture, every decoration. I felt Sophia's shadow everywhere. How ridiculous. I couldn't shed a single tear. My heart was dead, it wouldn't hurt anymore. I had only one thought, divorce. Immediately. Right now. I needed the divorce papers. I remembered we had signed a prenuptial agreement, 2 copies, his copy should be stored away. I walked directly to the home office. Ethan's home office had always been off limits to me. He always said it contained important business documents and I shouldn't touch them. I used to think this was mutual respect and trust between husband and wife. I pulled open the bottom drawer of his desk, the one he had repeatedly warned me never to open. Inside was an encrypted external hard drive. Next to it was a sticky note, in Ethan's handwriting, that read back up. My heart pounded uncontrollably. My intuition told me that the answers to all the secrets were hidden in there. I connected the hard drive to the computer, and a password input box popped up on the screen. I tried my birthday, incorrect. I tried Ethan's birthday, incorrect. I tried Sophia's birthday. I felt nauseous. Finally, as if guided by an unseen force, I enter. At a string of numbers. Our anniversary. Today. Password correct. The encrypted folder opened. I gave a self-deprecating laugh. To use our anniversary as a password to lock away a secret that betrayed me, Ethan, you are truly a genius. The folder didn't contain intimate videos or photos of him and Sophia, as I had imagined. Those things were no longer enough to shock me. There was only one PDF file, with a very long file name. Observation and Psychiatric Treatment for Ms. Grace's Bipolar Disorder. My head buzzed, a complete blank. My hands trembling, I clicked open the file. The institution that issued this plan was Sophia Psychology Clinic. The lead person in charge of the plan was Sophia. And on the consent form on the last page, signed a name I knew all too well. Ethan. The date was when I was 1 month pregnant. 4. I read it word by word, feeling only endless suffocation. This 30-page treatment plan twisted and defined all my normal emotional fluctuations from the beginning of my pregnancy, such as irritation after morning sickness, anxiety about the future, my questioning and unease about his and Sophia's excessive closeness, as performative personality, paranoid tendencies, and clear precursors to bipolar affective disorder. The plan meticulously documented every instance of my emotional loss of control, and all these records came from Ethan's verbal observations. My phone calls questioning his relationship with Sophia were attributed to my jealous delusions. My crying over his staying out all night was proof of my emotional instability. My retaliation at the party today would undoubtedly be painted in vivid detail, becoming ironclad evidence of my worsening condition. And the ultimate goal of this plan was clearly written. They planned that after I gave birth, during the intense postpartum hormonal changes, through a series of stimuli and drug inductions, they would make me exhibit severe postpartum depression and diagnose it as complete mental incapacitation. Then, Sophia would issue the most authoritative psychiatric diagnosis report. And, my dearest husband, as a victimized family member long tormented by a mentally ill wife, would petition the court to have me forcibly committed to a mental hospital. Ultimately, he would legitimately gain sole custody of our child, and all the marital property under our names. So, they were out to destroy me. This was their most important matter. I no longer felt anger, only a chilling coldness that seeped into my bones. The agonizing cramp in my abdomen, which I had forcibly suppressed, now surged back with thunderous force. 1,000 times more intense than it had been earlier at the ballroom, in the parking lot. It felt like a hand was tearing and churning frantically inside my uterus. The intense pain made my vision blur. I clutched the edge of the table, trying to steady myself, but my body went limp. Then, the world went black. I don't know how much time passed before I woke up on the floor. The sharp abdominal pain had turned into a dull, persistent ache, reminding me that none of this was a nightmare. I propped myself against the table and slowly stood up. I walked to the computer and looked at the file on the screen, my eyes cold. At the height of despair, a person feels no fierce emotions anymore. I copied the PDF file and all the observation records Ethan had provided in the folder. Then, I compressed them, encrypted them, and uploaded them to an anonymous cloud storage. After doing all that, I sent the link and password to this cloud storage to my best friend, Luna. She was not only my best friend but also a top divorce lawyer in the country. The email title I wrote was just 4 words, utmost. Sent successfully. I deleted the sent records and cleared all operation traces on the computer. Then, I dialed Luna's phone number. Grace? So early? What's wrong? Luna's voice still had a trace of sleepiness, but she immediately became alert. I didn't exchange pleasantries, speaking directly, my voice a little hoarse from a sleepless night. Luna, initiate Plan B. 5. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end of the line. Plan B was a code name we had joked about setting years ago. If one day my marriage reached its worst, irreversible point, I would activate it. Luna's voice instantly turned serious. Received. Severity? Utmost urgency, I repeated the email title. He didn't just cheat, he wants me dead. Okay, I understand. Are you safe now? Do you need me to come over? I'm safe. Not yet. I need you to do a few things for me immediately. Tell me. First, secure all the evidence I sent you. Second, help me contact someone, the most authoritative psychiatrist in the country. No one else, besides you and me, can know about it. I need to get the most detailed, most objective mental status evaluation report. No problem. My professor student is an authority in that field, absolutely reliable. Third, I looked at my pale face in the mirror. Help me investigate all of Ethan's company's financial transactions, especially accounts related to Sophia's psychology clinic. The more detailed, the better. Grace, you. Luna seemed about to say something. Luna, they want me to be a madwoman, so I can't disappoint them, can I? After hanging up, I felt strength surge through my body. Since they had meticulously prepared such a script for me, how could I not play my part well? When returned, I was sitting on the couch, tearing at a throw pillow with an empty gaze. Stuffing flew everywhere. He saw the scene and initially frowned, but then, his expression softened with pity. He walked over, carefully took the remains of the throw pillow from my hands, and said, "Grace, don't be like this. Can we talk?" I looked up, my eyes neurotic and full of fear. "Talk about what? About how you're going to treat me? You all want to harm me, everyone wants to harm me." I shrieked hysterically, grabbing things from the table and throwing them at him. He didn't dodge, letting a glass hit his forehead, leaving a bloodied scratch. He clutched his forehead, looking at me with an I knew it expression. "See? You're starting again. Grace, you're really sick, you need treatment." I watched him act, a cold sneer in my heart. "Yes, I'm sick. And I'll get sicker and sicker. Until I drag all of you down to hell." From that day on, I was sometimes in low spirits, not saying a word all day, locking myself in my room. Other times, I was hysterical, making groundless accusations, throwing things, and blaming Ethan and Sophia for trying to harm me. Ethan became increasingly patient with me, and Sophia, under the guise of treatment, frequented our home more often, doing even more sickening things. Under the pretext of prenatal anxiety, and arranged by Luna, I secretly visited the authoritative psychiatrist every week. To accelerate my condition, Ethan and Sophia organized a house party at a private estate with friends. They called it helping me relax and encouraging me to socialize for recovery. In reality, they wanted to observe, document, and even induce my episodes in front of everyone. At the party, they suggested playing Truth or Dare, a game most prone to breeding malice. Each time the bottle's opening spun, it landed on me. Ethan's friend asked, "Grace, for truth, do you often feel Ethan has other women outside?" I lowered my head, twisting the hem of my dress with my hands, and answered in a fragile yet paranoid tone. "He doesn't. He and Dr. Sophia are a little close." "For my treatment," Sophia interjected from the side. "This is a typical denial phase. The patient resists admitting reality and instead finds excuses for those who hurt her. This indicates a worsening condition." Everyone nodded, looking at Ethan with sympathy. The bottle's opening spun towards me again. One of Sophia's best friends asked, "Grace, for Dare, can you bark like a dog for us now?" This was blatant humiliation. Everyone watched me. Ethan frowned, finding it a bit much, but he didn't stop it. 6. He wanted to see where my bottom line was, how my loss of control would manifest. I looked up, my face blank, my eyes brimming with tears. I truly, softly, barked once. The whole room erupted in laughter. I saw Ethan breathe a sigh of relief, and Sophia's lips curved into a satisfied smirk. Their goal had been achieved. In their eyes, I was no longer an equal human being, but a plaything to be manipulated and humiliated at will. The game continued. Finally, it was my turn to spin the bottle. The bottle's opening pointed directly at Sophia. The room fell silent for a moment. Sophia looked at me with a confident smile, certain that I wouldn't dare do anything to her. "Grace, what do you want to ask me? Truth or dare? It's okay, speak freely, this is also a form of therapy." She treated everyone as her audience, turning the party into her public lecture. I looked at her and smiled too. "Dr. Sophia, you're so professional, of course, I'll choose truth. My question is." Everyone held their breath. "Do you think everyone around you is trying to harm you?" As soon as the question was out, everyone was stunned. Because that sentence is one of the most common questions used in psychiatric diagnoses. Sophia's smile froze. Of course, she couldn't answer yes. She could only laugh and say, "Grace, you're so funny. Of course, I don't think that." "Oh?" My smile widened. "Then you don't believe in truth, do you? That's fine, we'll play dare." I leaned forward. "My dare is, I dare to pull out my phone right now and call the police, saying someone is trying to harm me. Dr. Sophia, do you dare?" The atmosphere of the party instantly solidified. Everyone's gaze shifted to Sophia, whose face had gone pale. The party broke up on a sour note. Ethan was silent on the way home, his face grim. When we got home, he finally exploded. "Grace, what did you think you were doing tonight? Oh, you have any idea how much trouble your words will cause Sophia?" I sat on the couch, looking at him coldly. Trouble? When she publicly slandered and humiliated me, why didn't she think about the trouble she was causing me? That's different. She was doing it for your own good. For my own good? I laughed. "Ethan, do you even believe that when you say it?" He waved his hand in annoyance. "I don't want to argue with you. Your emotions are unstable right now. We'll talk when you've calmed down. He pulled out his usual line, "You're sick, so I won't argue with you." This was exactly what I wanted. Over the next few days, I became extremely insecure. I would suddenly wake up in the middle of the night, crying and saying someone was trying to steal my baby. When wasn't home, I would call him frantically, demanding to know where he was and who he was with. I pried open everything with a lock in the house, ransacking everything, claiming I was looking for evidence of them trying to harm me. Ethan and Sophia were exhausted by me, but in their eyes, the smug satisfaction of victory grew stronger. Because all my actions perfectly confirmed the correctness of their diagnosis. I was getting sicker and sicker. The time was ripe. That evening, after another episode, I curled up in bed, trembling. Ethan walked over and sat on the edge of the bed. He looked very tired. "Grace, what can I do to make you feel at ease?" I looked up, my eyes full of fear and dependency. "I'm scared. I'm scared you'll leave me. Leave the baby. I always feel like nothing belongs to me. The house, the car, you. None of it is mine." I cried inconsolably. A flicker of impatience crossed Ethan's face, but it was overshadowed by the tolerance of someone whose scheme was about to succeed. He softened his tone, trying to comfort me. "How could I? I would never leave you or the baby." "Then prove it to me." I grabbed his hand. "How can I prove it?" "Give me some of your things. Then I'll feel safe." I said in a confused, illogical tone. 7. Give me a small portion of your company shares. And this house. Put my name on the deed. That way, I'll know you won't leave me." I finished, watching him cautiously. Ethan was stunned. He hadn't expected me to make such a request. He was silent for a long time. He was weighing the pros and cons. In his eyes, I was a madwoman about to be committed to a mental hospital. These assets, even if temporarily transferred to my name, once I was officially diagnosed with a mental illness, he, as my guardian, could take them back at any time. And now, using these things, which he could easily reclaim in the future, to stabilize me, to make me cooperate with their treatment, was undoubtedly a profitable deal. Finally, he said tenderly, "Okay, I promise you. As long as you're well behaved and stop overthinking, I'll give you anything." He had his lawyer prepare the stock transfer agreement and property deed. After signing, the moment I received those documents, I lowered my head, my shoulders trembling. Ethan was very satisfied with my reaction. The first thing I did after getting the assets was to contact Luna. She immediately isolated these assets entirely from my personal accounts and secured them. This meant that no matter what happened to me in the future, these properties would remain independent, and Ethan could no longer touch them. Meanwhile, the private investigator Luna hired had made breakthrough progress. They found out that Sophia's psychology clinic, over the past 2 years, had used the confidentiality of its high-end clients as a cover to conduct illegal fund transfers and money laundering for Ethan's company. I looked at the chain of evidence Luna sent me, a cold sneer playing on my lips. "My dearest husband, you thought you were on the 5th floor. In reality, you were in the basement." I anonymously packaged the money laundering evidence, which was sufficient to attract the attention of regulatory bodies, and sent it separately to the complaint mailboxes of the IRS, Internal Service, and the Department of Commerce. After doing all that, I deleted all traces. Ethan's company soon faced a joint surprise inspection by the IRS and Department of Commerce. The news couldn't be kept quiet. Ethan was distraught, coming home early and leaving late every day, his fatigue and frustration no longer concealable. He started frequently calling Sophia, and several times I overheard him arguing in hushed tones in the home office. How did they find out? Weren't the books balanced? "Sophia, you absolutely have to clean up your side, or we'll both be finished." They probably thought this was just an accidental, routine inspection. They were still deflecting blame and suspecting a mole. Seeing's predicament, I felt the time was right. I wanted to personally add more fuel to this grand drama. I dialed William and Margaret's phone number. On the phone, my voice was filled with panic and helplessness. "William, Margaret, please come over quickly. I'm so scared. Ethan. His company seems to be in trouble. He comes home every day and doesn't say a word. He won't talk to me when I ask him. I'm afraid he'll do something foolish." I also invited my parents over. I thought with more people, we could all help Ethan figure something out. Half an hour later, Ethan's elder family members and my own parents were all sitting in our living room. The atmosphere was tense. Ethan was also called back by my phone call. He looked at the scene with displeasure. "Grace, what are you doing?" I ignored him. My eyes red-rimmed. I first cried to William and Margaret. William, Margaret, I know I shouldn't meddle in Ethan's company affairs, but I'm truly too worried. Then, in front of everyone, I pulled out a document. It was the document for the company shares and property Ethan had recently transferred to me. I handed it to William. William, look, Ethan insisted on transferring this to me a while ago. 8. He was afraid something might happen to him, and at least this would be a safeguard for me and the baby. Ethan's face instantly changed. He tried to speak, but my next words cut him off. I took out another document, a copy of the notification letter about Ethan's company being investigated, which Luna had obtained for me through special channels. At first, I didn't know why he did this, until I saw this. William, Margaret, did Ethan offend someone outside? Is the company going bankrupt? William's face grew darker and darker as he looked at the documents in his hand. As a shrewd operator who had dominated the business world for decades, he immediately understood what this meant. Asset transfer and a company under investigation. These two things combined were signs of imminent disaster. Ethan was speechless, unable to defend himself. He couldn't very well say in front of everyone, I didn't transfer assets because I was afraid of bankruptcy. I wanted to seize our family's wealth after my wife went insane, could he? He could only accept the persona of a devoted husband I had arranged for him. I spoke softly, directing the blame towards Sophia. William, Margaret, actually, I've always found it a bit strange. Many important accounts of Ethan's company seem to have been handled by Dr. Sophia's clinic. I don't understand business affairs, but I just thought, how could Sophia, who runs a psychology clinic, know so much about financial matters? Could she have defrauded Ethan? Or, perhaps, did she exploit Ethan's trust and do something behind his back that led to the company's troubles? Before, in the eyes of Ethan's family, Sophia was a talented, gentle, and kind daughter of a longtime family friend. She was the hero who helped their son resolve family conflicts. And I was an ignorant, jealous, insane daughter-in-law. But when all this became linked to the interests of the entire family, the scales began to tip. Margaret's face showed doubt. That's right. William, Grace has a point. Why would Sophia, a psychologist, manage our family company's finances? Is there something wrong here? William's gaze sharpened, and he glared at Ethan. Ethan, what the hell? Explain yourself. Did you hand over the company's core business to an outsider? Have you lost your mind? Ethan's face was ashen, sweat pouring down. Dad, no, it's not what you think. Sophia, she what? Are you still protecting her? I said, full of grievance and disappointment. The battle of public opinion, at that moment, completely reversed. I watched Ethan, defeated and disheveled, being pressed by his father, feeling not a ripple in my heart. The family meeting successfully created a rift between Ethan and his family. But this wasn't enough. What I wanted was for them to be utterly disgraced, never to recover. The next day, I unleashed all my weapons at once. The first was an encrypted compressed file. It contained the complete psychiatric intervention treatment plan. All of Ethan and Sophia's explicit private text messages discussing how to destroy me. All the evidence demonstrating Sophia's clinic's involvement in money laundering. It also contained the evaluation report, issued by the country's most authoritative psychiatrist, proving my mental state was completely normal, free of any mental illness. I sent this compressed file, under my real name, to the American Association's ethics. The second was an edited audio recording. It was a recording I had secretly made when I was having an episode at home, capturing Sophia's attempts to manipulate me and her conversations with Ethan about how to define my condition. I anonymously sent this audio recording to several entertainment media outlets known for their exposés. The third was myself. I contacted a mainstream media outlet renowned for its in-depth reporting and granted them an exclusive interview. I recounted a family story of psychological manipulation by a psychiatrist. At the end of the INTE review, I calmly looked into the camera and said, today, I'm speaking out not just for myself, but for everyone who might be suffering from similar mental abuse and gaslighting tactics. 9. Their most potent weapon is making you doubt yourself, making you believe you're truly sick. But I want to tell everyone, your feelings are real, your anger is justified, you are not sick. Those who try to control and harm you with love are the ones who are sick. These 3 bombs detonated on the same day. The entire public discourse instantly erupted. Hashtag leading psychologist conspires against best friend's husband. Hashtag real life gaslighting effect. Hashtag these hashtags quickly dominated the trending topics across all social media platforms. Sophia instantly transformed from a golden girl into a reviled wicked witch. Her clinic was besieged by angry netizens, and patients she had treated in the past stepped forward, questioning her professionalism. The psychological formed an investigation team, and in the face of irrefutable evidence, Sophia's license to practice was immediately revoked. Her reputation was ruined, and her career in tatters. Furthermore, the evidence of money laundering directly alerted the financial unit. Her clinic was sealed, and she and her core team were lawfully detained on multiple criminal charges. Ethan's fate was equally grim. On the day the scandal broke, the company's stock plummeted, instantly wiping out billions. The board of directors convened an emergency meeting overnight, removing him from his CEO position for severely damaging the company's reputation and interests. Immediately afterward, the financial unit's investigation team officially moved into Hayes. He was placed under investigation for alleged major economic crimes and was prohibited from leaving the country. In a mere 24 hours, their world came crashing down. I watched on the TV news as Ethan, surrounded by reporters, displayed a face of shock, anger, and disbelief. I saw Sophia, handcuffed, being led away by police from her clinic, looking utterly disheveled. I turned off the TV. I gently caressed my visibly swollen belly and whispered, "Baby, did you see that? Those bad people have all gotten their comeuppance. We are safe." Ethan found me a week later. He had been bailed out, but he looked utterly gaunt, completely devoid of his former vigor. He found the apartment Luna and I shared. The moment the door opened, he dropped to his knees before me. He clung to my legs, weeping profusely. "Grace, I was wrong, I was so wrong. I'm not human, I'm a beast. I was blinded by greed. It was all Sophia, that bitch. She manipulated me, she slowly led me to believe you were sick. She said it was the only way to save you, to save our family." He pushed all the blame away, completely absolving himself. "Grace, believe me, you've always been the one I love, from the very beginning, it was only ever you. For the sake of our years together, for the sake of our unborn child, please forgive me this one time, won't you? Please tell the police, tell the media, that it was all a misunderstanding, okay?" A month ago, I might have softened. But now, I felt nothing but utter disgust. I took out my phone and pressed play. It was Ethan's voice, laced with a sneer and disdain. "She's been getting more neurotic lately, the plan is going smoothly." Then came Sophia's voice. "Don't get soft. Once she gives birth, when her hormones are at their lowest point, that's when we strike. By then, she'll be institutionalized, and the assets and child will all be yours." Then, Ethan's cruel laughter. "I know. I've been waiting for this day for a long time." The audio recording finished playing. The color drained completely from Ethan's face. He stared at me as if he'd seen a ghost, his body trembling uncontrollably. You. I looked down at him, an air of superiority in my gaze. "Ethan, stop your ridiculous act." I tossed a document in front of him. It was the divorce papers I had signed long ago. Next to the document was a court summons. "You will forfeit all marital assets. All premarital and marital property under your name will be used as compensation for the emotional distress and financial damages you inflicted upon me. Furthermore, the court has already accepted the lawsuit for emotional distress and conspiracy to harm that you and Sophia conspired to inflict upon me. Your remaining life will be spent compensating me and facing imprisonment." He completely collapsed to the floor, muttering, "No, impossible," his eyes unfocused. Several months later, I successfully gave birth to a healthy baby boy. He loves to laugh, and his eyes are just like mine. I recovered all my assets and the substantial compensation paid by Ethan. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.